Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Grace Poole, and today in this seminar, I will be presenting to you my pitch for the thesis project. My aim was to create a dynamic cartoon which could be used with VR headsets to rehabilitate disabled people and be used for communication in virtual reality to further mitigate barriers disabled people face in the workforce. First, I will give you an overview of the thesis project. It was completed in two parts, Part A and Part B. This presentation covers research on image tracking of motion capture of a person's joints. A skeleton is created and mapped to a set of sprites, depending on how automated metrics determine the best fit. Ultimately, this will analyze the person's gait, who then goes on to training exercises demonstrated over VR headsets until they have been fully rehabilitated. People can also communicate in this space in a general sense, and the bridge between disabled and neurotypical people is further mitigated. Motion capture started in 1915 and involves digitally recording the movement of objects. The motion analysis article about how motion capture evolved provided me the validation of my idea of attaching an animated cartoon that has been divided into sprites or frames to a pre-recorded set of joints of an actor. In 2017, Michael Chuck narrowed down the motion capture system into two categories, that being optical and non-optical. Now, my experiment uses optical passive markers with reflective surfaces in order to automatically track the system of joints. So for Part B of the thesis, I created an algorithm that would automatically track the moving skeleton, so joining the points together based on an assorted array of closest points. And this was used to improve the efficiency of the algorithm and increase the resolution of the markers. Also, the moving magic itself had to be improved, so I needed to create a higher contrast between the markers themselves and everything else. The OptiTrack motion capture demonstrates how this would work in practical applications, because you can see there's all these lights on the actor, and the actor is dark, the background is dark, but it's picking up points to be observed. Here are the stages of my project. Now, for preparation of the costume, it needed to be black with luminous white ping pong balls attached above the actor's joints. Two trials were conducted. In this trial, you see a high contrast between me, the background, and the ping pong balls, because we needed to actually visualize those white spots when we applied segmentation algorithms to segment the background from the foreground. You can see the camera is quite high resolution. It's a professional camera. These are some trials that were carried out. Only the first trial worked. Everything else did not have the right balance of saturation and contrast for my algorithm to pick up the markers. This is how you change the settings in the camera once you've downloaded the video. So in this trial, less markers are used. The accuracy was only about 25% because you have 11 markers and only 3 sets could accurately be picked up. So it would draw 3 lines accurately and everything else is inaccurate. So to fix this, more markers were added so it could clearly draw a line, because it's telling the closer the nodes are to each other, the more likely they'll be connected. So you have to use that to sort of tell the algorithm who the neighbors are and who to, it's kind of like leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for the algorithm to use a sorted array to prioritize connections. Here you can see there's more connections. Here you can see the contrast is quite high. Where my face and hands are, that was removed because the area was too large and we only wanted to use contours for the markers. Now you can see the stick figure is coming out more clearly. Here is an example of the moving stick figure. So it's rather accurate. Next, we take an animated character, we split it into frames, we compare each frame to all the frames of the animated character, to a frame from the animated character in the list, and we essentially get some of the points lining up within a close proximity of each other where these green spots are located. Now, you can see these are all the possible green spots, so only some of them are being selected when it's saying that they're within a radius of the animated character. This is an example similar to the video. Now, this is the video with fluid movement. And then this is the video, and you can see some of the frames have been skipped because not enough of these points overlapped within the radius of the actual character. Now, conversely, for collision detection, I took the animated character and I inverted it and I mapped them onto each other. And there are some points that still meet up, and that's called a collision. But all the green points are where they don't collide. And if too many points collide, it skips the frame. So here is an example of the code running. You can see it takes a bit of time to start up, and then you have to exit prior processes, and then eventually it will go into the loop for the animation. Now the animation, this is happening live. Well, it's happening from the video, but this is as fast as the algorithm can process it. So the video is just someone walking normally. So this is a little bit slow, but if we improve the processing power of a computer, because this is just using normal settings, then I'm sure it's possible to improve that runtime and the speed. But also, the accuracy is maybe, and efficiency is maybe not as good as what currently exists with Facebook and the metaverse and Deep Ocean, but it's only using about 200 lines of code. It's all localized on a computer. So I believe it's very efficient, and a lot can be taken from it for further research. So the overall accuracy achieved was 70%. So that's pretty good in medical fields. And maybe not as good as what big social media platforms can perform for animation. So maybe it's not as suitable for VR reality, virtual reality, but it is good for rehabilitation and tracking people with movement disorders. So thank you for listening, and I'll take questions now.